this podcast is for general informational purposes and entertainment only and should not be considered medical advice. Dr. Ashley is not responsible or liable for any advice, course of treatment, or other information you obtain through this podcast, and neither am I. So if you have any real problems, go see a doctor in person.
This is the full release.
Okay.
Welcome back.
Yeah, let's just start out with a big apology to our fans. Whoa. We have just not been doing a lot of episodes.
We've been out of our mojo. We've been out of our mojo.
We have had good mojo, but we haven't been recording that mojo.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
We feel terrible to everyone at home who has had full release blue balls.
Yeah.
It's a new phrase we're coining. As an apology, we are putting this on YouTube, and Ashley is in a gorgeous, sexy chiffon.
It's not chiffon, babe.
Silk.
It's not silk.
Wool.
It's not a ball.
Ball gown.
It's not a ball gown. I am wearing a gown. I'm wearing a full-length dress because I have no reason to other than I haven't been able to look nice in a very long time, as all you other quarantiners, I'm sure, feel. And I was just like, fuck it, I'm going to wear a dress. I'm going to wear a full, long dress that's not made out of chiffon. But yeah, and Mo was like, oh, I'm going to like make my hair extra large. If you
I'm
guys
not making anything extra large. It's just the hair, the eyebrows.
The eyebrows are extra good.
The chest hair was shaved recently, but the rest of the hair situation is very
Clogged
intense.
my drain.
Clogged your drain.
That was great. And the plumber wouldn't come because of coronavirus. So
yeah.
So thanks for that. You're
welcome.
Yeah.
How is everybody's corona going? How are you guys doing? Okay, not a lot to say. Shy bunch.
No, but seriously, we don't really have an excuse. I mean,
no,
right?
We
were just. I mean, I've actually been busy. You know, I mean, not going into the hospital as much. But I'm working a lot from home, and I am still taking call and everything. And then,
in our defense, over the last month, we have been saying we need to do a podcast. We need to do a podcast,
like
and also
day. Yeah.
saying we need to plan the wedding. We need to plan the wedding, and we've done neither at all.
I spent a lot of time being stressed out about the wedding and doing nothing about it.
Yeah,
so
no.
Thank you.
Ashley has accomplished buying 5 billion items online. I don't know if any other people out there are online shopping addicts, but if you are the spouse of someone who does that, give me tips how to.
I have a hardcore problem.
This.
But here's the thing: it's not that I just like want stuff. It's like when things are on a really good sale, I feel like
it's almost you
like
need
it's my
to buy
duty.
them.
It's my duty to take advantage of that sale. So then I'm compulsively like, oh my god, this is more off than it's ever been off before. I have to.
And
take
even though you don't need another fucking bag,
I don't need anything.
No, not at all.
But I'm doing that. So between that and being stressed out about our wedding, and deciding whether or not we're gonna be able to do it.
Well, now that I see how much clothes and shit you buy, I'm starting to question whether we should get married.
No, you're not.
Because now I'm like, she's gonna broke me.
No.
She's gonna broke me.
Because I only buy things like 70% off sale. So it's actually like I spend extreme amount of time looking at things and like scrolling.
But why are you even thinking about clothes right now? We can't go outside. Like all I'm thinking about is maybe investing in a second pair of sweats. I mean, because what are you buying all this shit for?
It's an investment.
Where?
Yeah, I don't know.
An investment in what?
In the future when I can go outside. Yeah.
No, you're going to be ready. But by then, all the fashion might have changed. Chiffon might not be the new thing.
Chiffon, here's the funny thing, is actually chiffon is very on trend right now.
Is it?
Blouses.
Is it on fleek?
I don't think on fleek is a trendy word anymore.
Not on fleek. It's not on fleek
you're like,
anymore.
that was even, But
fleek's no longer the bomb.
Right. Right. There you go.
Can we just kick into some exciting news?
Yeah, let's just move on with things. You know,
hey,
let's just move on.
This is kind of cool. I don't know. We've talked about this before. That I've shot a TV pilot, and we're hoping it's going to go to series. It's for the Discovery Channel, and it's going to be airing as a special.
This is awesome.
With aims to being picked up to series if it does well and people connect to it. And it's going to be airing on the Discovery Channel May 20th at 10 p.m., and I'm going to be on the show right before that with Josh Gates at 9:30. So it's called Small Town Throwdown. That's the title. And please watch. It's really funny, and it's really kind of a heartwarming show, I would say. And I'm the host, so it's also a handsome show.
Can we give any like sneak peeks? A handsome show.
It's a handsome show.
It's a handsome and hairy show.
Well, I wasn't as hairy when this was shot.
Extremely
back in
hairy.
January.
Yeah, but you were wearing like a hat that kind of looked like your hair.
That's true.
So it was.
Don't give away the spoilers.
No, okay. I have seen the rough cut of it, and it's freaking awesome. Am I allowed to say?
You can. Well,
is Mo doing various antics?
Antics is not a very descriptive
No,
term.
I know, but I wanted to get into deeper. Like he's jumping into very cold bodies of water.
Let's not give away too many. Yeah, let's not give away details like that.
Okay.
Let's just say
he may or may not be doing that, actually. He may
each
not.
week on the show, we visit towns that have received really notorious, bad reputations, and I go there to kind of find out if they deserve these reputations.
So, like, do you go to your hometown for having a reputation for having you?
No,
and then you ask people just your opinion on yourself.
I have not. That's more of a season 3 one. But basically, we go to
So
towns like it's like the smelliest town in America, the ugliest town, the stupidest town, the most dirtiest town, the most roach infested town, or just and we go there and we find out, and, let the community speak for themselves. It's really funny, and Ashley is not in it, so you're gonna not like it.
That's true.
Anyway, so that's my plug.
Although I saw footage of you talking about me.
I do talk about her on the show.
So there you go. I think actually I am that important.
You are sort of in there, yeah.
That even in your own show, you can't.
Yeah, we should talk to producers. Maybe we can get a little credit there. Your urologist described is actually Ashley Winter, DDS.
But anyway, so to everyone
DDS,
who, what, like I'm a dentist?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I don't get it.
That was
So anyway, everybody watch it.
Everybody watch it and tell all your friends and tell everybody because it's really going to be freaking awesome. And we just want everybody to tune in to enjoy it and make sure that the whole series flies,
Yeah, make sure that it's not just Mo Mandel stay-at-home trophy husband. Make sure it's Mo Mandel working television producer host guy.
Okay, so I have another public service announcement.
Whoa, public server. Trigger the sound effect.
I don't know. What is it?
Oh, we don't have any sound effects. Okay.
It's a PS. The more you know.
Oh, we're doing a more you know?
I don't know. No, we're not. Okay. I am helping one of the urologists that I collaborate with on some research projects, who's based out of the University of Miami. I'm helping him with a research study. And the research study is basically looking at women's perceptions about erectile dysfunction. So it's really interesting. If you actually look through the medical literature, there's very little actual studies on this topic.
I can tell you how they've responded to my own.
Tell me the top 10 experiences of women responding to erectile dysfunction.
I can't whittle it down
years.
to that small of a number.
Mashup sequence here. No, but really questions, right? And whether or not they're founded in truth, how often, when women have a partner with erectile dysfunction, do they feel like it's their fault? Or do they think it's their fault? Or does it change the relationship? Or, all these things, right? And these are things that have kind of been talked about and written about in popular TV and movies and, whatever on I don't know, Vogue or Women's Health, or Men's Health. And people kind of hypothesize about these things. But what percentage of the population?
Do any women think it's their fault?
We don't know because
that's a spoiler alert for the article.
We have to do the study.
Oh, so you're doing the study now.
So to do the study, we're just having women complete an online survey, and we are going to post a link to the survey with this episode. Mo, you're going to do that.
I didn't know that.
And
I didn't know I was going to do that.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, you're going to do that.
I'm so excited to do that.
We have 2,000 responses already.
Oh, that's great.
To the survey. Yeah, it's great. So we're going to post it. It just takes a few minutes. It's for a good cause, which is to help our understanding of sexual, sexual perceptions.
That's cool. That is really good. I'm actually really curious about that because I do a joke in my stand-up that, when men lose their erection during sex, where it's it's not your fault. Women are like, yeah, dude, it never occurred to me that it was my fault. But I'm curious.
But some women I do think internalize, thoughts about it. And I had told you,
we're filming Instagram videos as we do videos for the podcast. It's so much video, podcast video.
Yeah. Lots of things.
The full release is back,
Mo's getting
bitch.
under my dress here.
I probably did.
Anyway, so basically, people internalize feelings about it, even if they know, intellectually it may not be their fault. It might undermine their relationship. I mean, I've told you in the past that I had men who had erectile dysfunction after prostate cancer surgery, and afterwards the women that they were in relationships with thought it was their fault, and it affected their relationship.
Yeah.
So it's just nice to kind of expand and collect information on a broader scale and look at what the trends are. You know? So we'll post a link to it. It's also available if you go to the sex subreddit. It's posted there. So if you look up actually the following on the our r/sex on Reddit, research survey, female perceptions of erectile dysfunction. But also if you just like looked up on Reddit, research survey, female and erectile dysfunction,
Right.
you would find it.
Or you can go on Pornhub.
No, it's not
That has
there.
nothing to do with it.
It's
but
not
you
posted
can go
there.
there
That's
and see
not
what
where it
happens.
is.
See
No.
if you learn about yourself.
But you can go on Pornhub and look up owl eyebrow porn, and you'll find a lot of videos of Mo of himself.
Ashley is saying I have owl eyebrows. I don't even know what that is.
We're gonna take.
So what are we going to get into this week? Aside from our various plugs, do we have sexual medicine questions?
We have a lot. Yeah.
Should we give the phone number out because it's been 7 years since our last podcast?
You're right. Yeah, we have some good calls. So our phone number is.
Ooh, do you still know it? Let's see. I'd be amazed if you still know it.
213-631-3460.
I mean, it sounds right. You want to check?
213-631-3460. You got to check, baby.
All right, I think that sounds right. Let's film that. Let's put that on Instagram so people can see. Here we go. Ready?
We're not going to double check it. We're just going to say we'll just triple down. Right.
So if you guys want to call, the Full Release Podcast and hear an actual doctor's answer, or not answer, see what she has to say to your, medical thing, whatever. What's the number, babe? What can I call?
213-631-3460.
That's right. Or you can email at thefullreleasepod@gmail.com. Was I right?
Oh, yeah.
Nailed it. All right, let's get into our first question. What do we got?
Wait.
Oh, we're not done.
I just want to go into one other thing. So Mo, what I've learned, actually, this made me think about this, is he can't remember any password ever.
Right.
So I was helping him set up a password manager, and he would like have to reset all of his passwords to record his passwords in the password manager, and then forget what those reset passwords were immediately after he had done it.
It was probably
it was literally the most infuriating thing I've ever experienced.
It was not a happy moment of my life either. No.
Yeah. But anyway, so we are going to dive into a few sexual medicine questions. We're also going to talk more about coronavirus and sex. I do have some updates on that.
You have some updates.
Some key emerging updates, yes. And some older non-COVID related questions. I'm not older, just
is
like
there anything
non-COVID.
non-COVID to talk about these days?
There is.
Not according to every news station I've seen. It's just been all COVID all day.
Right. Well, we're going to give you some other stuff.
Wow. Only here.
So we're going to, thank you. So we're going to have that for you.
By the way, if anyone's listening and say, where do we find this on YouTube? It's on Mo Mandel's channel. So I am the co-host. Hello, I'm Mo Mandel. And it's on my YouTube channel.
Yes.
So there's that.
Okay. And so we're going to talk about some non-sexual medicine questions, including like if you're, well, I guess we'll go into the question later, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're going to ask the question
I'll give the recap. If you are allergic to something and your significant other or your sex partner of any kind takes that medication, could you have an allergy to some of their secretions? Okay, so that's kind of the question. So we'll find out more about that.
So like if your lover is allergic to cats and you dry yourself off with a cat when you get out of the shower.
Well, no, that's not really. Not really.
Will you? That was the question?
Yeah.
Specifically that.
That was yeah.
If you dry yourself off by rolling around in a pile of puppies.
Yeah. If you
off.
use like Calvin Klein peanut fragrance.
Right.
And you're allergic to peanuts.
That's an interesting
question. How would that affect you? Yeah. Yes, these are all.
If you use a tampon made of peanuts.
Right. That's a really great question. Okay. So, but before that, I just wanted to, one more thing. I wanted to just say that I've been really loving quarantine life with you. It's just so great. I know Mo didn't really know if he wanted to marry me because we hadn't really lived together.
That's not true. But I was a little nervous about it because we hadn't lived together. And now that we have, I'm thrilled about it. Yeah, we've been having a great time. We really have. We've been playing Exploding Kittens. That's not an ad, but it's a fun game.
And we've been dancing together.
We danced one time.
We danced to the Dirty Dancing song.
We danced one time and knocked over a table and actually broke her phone. That's
okay.
True.
Can you tell us the story about your Dirty Dancing story?
Well, we should. Let's say. Let's do it. I don't want people to tune out because they're like, these fucking narcissists are not talking about questions. So I do want to tell that story, but let's get at least one question.
All right.
See how I try, guys.
And then we'll go back. We'll go back.
Okay,
fine. So,
let's give a phone question. Can we do that?
We can do a phone question. So let's do a call in that's a recap, like a response to our last episode. Let's just dive into that.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. Oh, wait. And I do have one other thing. I have to make a correction.
Okay.
In our last episode, I said they had not found coronavirus in urine yet. And they subsequently have. So I have to make that correction. That is emerging scientific evidence since our last. So I have a correction.
Anyone who's been drinking urine worry-free,
yeah.
wrong move.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And the other update is that they have now done extensive studies on semen. In fact, even they've done extensive studies on the testicles of dead guys who died of coronavirus.
Trying to find what?
Evidence of the coronavirus.
But why? Is anyone really concerned about getting the coronavirus through sex? That seems...
Well, that's basically the question.
But why would you be worried about that? If you're having sex with one, you're already within 6 feet of them. So what does it matter if you're getting it through ejaculate or just air?
Well, I mean, like, there's all host of questions, right? Like, let's say somebody is a sperm donor and
I guess there's that.
are like, don't want to get COVID from them.
Yeah, but isn't a sperm that you donate, like, that's not like going there within a week, right? You're not like donating in the next room.
Look, babe, I'm just saying, I think it helps you understand kind of how the virus works. I mean, I just think there's like lots of...
I just think some of these scientists are bored and they want to just look at jizz.
Yeah, okay,
I'm gonna be
whatever.
honest, that's what I honestly think it is.
Anyway, so they did the study and they haven't found any evidence of the virus in the secretions of the male ejaculate, essentially, or within the testicles.
Good news for in other words, and I'm just going to extrapolate here, all sex in the future should be done orally through a glory hole.
Well, this is what we were kind of talking about, and this is what our caller inner will get. If you wore one of those like full-on bodysuits, and you just had the penis exposed, that might be pretty safe.
I think this is the age of the glory hole. Speaking of safer sexuality, there's a strip club that we haven't gone to yet in Portland.
Oh, yeah.
That is all drive-through. So you drive through in your car, and I guess there's like it looks like a tunnel area with all these strippers on the side. It looks
I
like
think it's a tunnel. It's like it's just like a parking lot, and there's like stages set up, and like smoke effects and lights.
It sounds like where Mad Max goes to get his nut
it's
off.
very Mad Maxy. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
We should probably go tonight.
So if you live in Portland,
we should probably stop doing this and go.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, great. So there we have that correction from the last episode and an update, and now we're gonna do this call here.
Hey, Mo and Ashley. Hey, just wanted to give you a quick update. Called in a few weeks ago. I was the guy going to Mexico, wanted to try the Mexico Viagra. Just wanted you to know I didn't try it. Everything was good, but thought about it, but didn't. Anyway, just listened to your podcast today. It's Thursday, March 25th. And I just had a couple ideas on your sex positions. I'm thinking, why not just do it in the shower? Then you can just wash off right then and there and not worry about this global pandemic. Or just blindfold each other and you don't even know what the hell's going on. And then lastly, I was thinking, this is kind of wild, but Mo might like this, but I was thinking take a broom handle and duct tape a vibrator on the end and be 6 feet away and see how good you are. Anyway, love the show. Keep up the good work. Ciao.
What are you doing? Get it off! No! That was scary. Interesting questions. A lot of interesting answers
and suggestions here.
So,
okay, so I would say out of his first three, right? So he had four suggestions, right? His four suggestions.
This guy's like the Elon Musk of COVID sex.
So his four suggestions were: one, do it in the shower.
Yeah.
Two, just blind.
Do it in the shower is good. I would say the shower one's smart.
Shower.
Yeah.
Blindfold and just have no idea what's going on.
That seems like it's not going to work to me, but maybe I'm not a doctor.
What was the third one?
Use a broom handle so you can be 6 feet away. First of all, it's a very large room.
Fine. Okay.
And sort of
right,
which seems not enjoyable to anybody, I want to say.
I don't know. I feel like if you had a good vibrator on the tip of a broom handle, I would probably be okay with that.
Okay, well, it's something to look into. You do have a birthday coming up in 6 months.
It would also be kind of a little bit like when you go to an arcade and you have to like grab the thing with the claw, like it's a little bit difficult. Like you got the hand there and you're like,
yeah. Actually,
I'm like, no, over there.
So sometimes, like if you want to have sex and I'm watching TV, I can actually just sort of,
yeah. Honestly,
that's a pretty good idea. Though.
I was even thinking, like they're talking about how people who are dating are, fine. They're doing like video chat dates and stuff, but they can't really like hit that,
Can't really hit that, yeah.
Without, because you gotta
that hit.
Right.
So that hit in there,
I wonder if you could make like chambers where, okay, like have you seen the way they do the contactless testing booths in Israel?
No.
Like it's basically like,
is it with a broom handle in the vagina?
No.
That's how they do it?
No.
Israel is a wild place.
No.
You gotta go.
Okay, basically there's like this big like plexiglass barrier, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's two of these like holes, and the person doing the testing puts their hands into these like gloves that go through the wall.
Okay, yeah.
And then they can like do the swab.
So you're saying if there was a vagina on the other end of that wall,
so you could
do it.
You could make booths where there's like two sets of arms for each of the two people,
right?
To like touch each other, and then there's a whole bunch of like toys on like broom handles and stuff that go through the wall, and then you guys could like have.
There's
some
a great
fun.
scene in an underrated film that I like to.
But
refer
you understand?
To I do understand what you're saying.
Okay.
Have you seen the film Naked Gun 2?
I haven't.
I believe it's 2, could be 33 and a third.
I've seen 33 and a third. I don't remember.
There is one part where they
Yeah.
say we should practice safe sex, and all of a sudden they're both in enormous body-sized condoms, and they're just rolling around on the floor with each other as condoms. So it's sort of like what you're saying.
Yeah, but that would be difficult to breathe.
Right. Yeah, no, I don't know how they work that out. Leslie Nielsen, I don't know if he ever got there with his scientific studies in that area, but it did make me think of that. Yeah. I feel really bad. I'm curious to know, what are single people doing? Is it just jerking off and vibrating and fingering, and what's going on over there? Are people... I mean, I would definitely be breaking the quarantine now, and I'm not recommending that. I just know myself.
Well,
I would freak out and have to do it.
Well, I think that's what's, at least from talking with a single friend of mine, she said kind of, she had something going on with a guy and they were basically ending it, and then all this stuff
she's talking about.
And all this stuff happened, and then they were basically like, okay, fine, let's just like keep having sex with each other.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do
so even though they weren't
even
though they weren't that into each other, they're just like, they kind of make like an arrangement.
Right. Although I would say you shouldn't break the quarantine. It's definitely ill-advised and bad. I'm saying myself,
don't be
I'm
a
weak.
weak man.
Don't be
like
weak
him.
like I would be.
Don't be a weak man like him. Yeah.
But I do know my cousin is single, and he said he was very jealous that he said that you're having a nonstop fuck party going on during the quarantine. I didn't describe it as that, and nor do I think that's I'll tell you off, Mike. I don't describe it as that, nor do I think that's accurate, but I think he's so lonely and horny, he's describing what we're having as a nonstop
it's not at all what's
fuck
happening.
party.
Yeah. It was more like a nonstop ice cream eating party until we
By the way, kind of
decided
say, I don't know if anyone follows my Instagram, the real Mo Mandel on Instagram, but I've been putting a bunch of stuff up there, and I got a comment today that said, man, the quarantine 15 is real. The fuck, man?
That's bullshit.
First of all, I only gained 8 pounds. It's not 15. And a lot of it's facial hair.
And muscle. It's all muscle, I think.
We'll see.
Okay, but so to get like real here, if you were gonna do that thing with a 6 foot long,
no, it's not. That's not real. That's crazy. I don't want to. That's really. We're gonna talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to make sure that you were like sanitizing it between uses. So that's what I was gonna say. My other thought was
between uses. So you're seeing that out. That is gonna be that thing is gonna be a busy broom handle.
I don't know.
Girls be calling them up. I heard you got a broom handle. How do I get swept up?
You could just like reach it down the window or something.
I do think but there is something to be said for like, okay, a spermicidal lubricant that they could put in a condom, right? What if they can get a COVID style spermicide that kills COVID, and you slather your bodies with that before you roll?
It doesn't exist. So don't do that. And there doesn't exist, so don't do that.
But does Trump think that maybe he could figure out how to make it
probably.
exist?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the putting a blindfold on and just not worrying about it. I don't recommend that medically.
Does that
I
work
don't
for
really-
any
I
medical
don't-
conditions that you know of? The old blindfold technique?
I certain ones like I don't know, like
Like, what if you just, because I found that with psychological issues, a very effective thing is to force yourself not to think about it.
right.
So does that also work for medical stuff? If you don't
No.
think about something, does it cure itself? Or does
Well,
Jesus have to
let's see.
cure it for you?
If you accidentally got run over by a car, your leg fell off.
If you
If you just didn't think about it,
right, Jesus wouldn't sew it back on. You're just saying.
I don't know what Jesus is doing, but wearing a blindfold will not fix that problem.
Okay.
So
Well,
I wouldn't recommend that one.
fair enough.
And then I also don't recommend the shower sex either. Okay.
So 0 for 3, dude.
Yeah.
0 for 3. Well, I'd say,
also, I don't like
0.5.
shower sex.
yeah, shower sex
I don't
sucks.
like shower sex. It's like too inconvenient.
There's not enough
And,
friction.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Water disrupts the natural lubricants. I'm just not a fan of that. I'm not very agile. So
Right.
yeah.
No,
No, I
it's
don't-
not good.
thank you for calling in and making your suggestions.
Yeah,
I mean, I
we do
really
appreciate it,
that.
yeah.
But we have to break it down, you know.
And we're bluffing. We're going to try the broom thing later. Yeah. Yeah.
And we're gonna do it on Mo.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm gonna vibrate his nostril.
I love it. What else
That
we
is one
got,
of his
Doctor?
hot
Oh,
spots.
should I go into the story about the song?
Yeah, I think you should.
So and I'm curious what people think about it. So,
Circle back here.
yeah, we're trying to figure out what song to dance to at our wedding. And one of the most romantic songs out there is I Had the Time of My Life, by the Dirty Dancing soundtrack, I believe is the name of the band. And I swear it's true. So, wait, don't sing anymore. YouTube will yank it down. But that song is very particularly romantic to me because there's a girl that I was in love with when I was a youngster, like around 4th grade. I was in love with her for like 5 years of my childhood. And at my cousin's wedding, she was there as well, and we danced together to it. And it was just like the most romantic sexual moment ever in my young life at that point.
Yeah, it sounds more romantic to me than
It was romantic, but it was also, I was touching a girl's body. She was probably in 6th grade. I was in 4th grade. I mean, it's crazy how much you want to touch a girl's body when you're like a little fucking hornball kid, and it just never gets to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like
and it's like so exciting because you've never done it before.
Yeah, it's so great to touch somebody that you've never, when you're at that point. It's still great to touch somebody now that you haven't lived with and heard fart this morning, Ashley. But I don't
ever fart.
Okay.
Just don't ever
Sure,
say that ever again.
about 40
Never
minutes worth of cell phone recordings to
to capture that. You're like the guy who does the Nature Channel shows. Who like waits, like lurks to get the sound.
So anyway, we had danced to it, and it was very romantic, and I was so taken with it. When my mom developed the photos, she had been taking the photos of the wedding. I went through and found 2 photos of us together and stole them out of the pack and kept them under my pillow for years until they were like yellow from the sun. And at one point or a few times, I probably even danced with the photos in my room to those songs.
I mean, it's so adorable. Like, it makes me love you even more. The fact that you...
I also grind my fucking dick into my pillow and mattress trying to figure out how to orgasm.
Like, you're
so
such
that
a romantic. That's so cute. Like, when I was that age, I was scared of boys, and I just thought boys thought girls were gross.
Yeah, I think that's kind of...
You've just always been a lover?
No, I just think boys in general hit that stride faster. They get that animal craziness in them faster.
Yeah.
And then women take it.
I don't know if most boys that age are like romantic. Like, I don't know
if you'd call it
4th graders.
I mean, what do you think? Just 4th graders just imagining like just raw dogging chicks, bending them over a pool table. I don't think that's how it works. You're like it's.
When I was in 4th grade, a lot of girls really craved Jonathan Taylor Thomas. They craved him.
International superstar.
They craved him sexually and romantically.
As they should have. So anyway, to bring it back to our wedding is we were talking about that song, and I said to her, like,
give us suggestions.
No, but I was just connecting. I said I like that song but I was like,
right.
but I have a connotation with another woman in it.
Right. No. So basically,
Well,
I wanted to do that
same
song.
woman, I'd say.
And
at
Mo
that
said
point,
he
yeah.
was going to be thinking of that woman that he danced with.
Not even a woman. I
when
would
he
be
was...
thinking of me as a 4th grader and madly in love with this girl. And so yeah, I don't know. I'm down if you're cool with her coming to the wedding and dancing that song with us.
like our wedding song, like this rando girl is just gonna come out and like we'll all three kind of like hug there and sway.
It's like a new thing. It's a throuple.
Do you remember what she was
bring
wearing?
a throuple on the name. I do remember what she's wearing.
Oh my God.
It was like a
me
pink. It was like a very sexy sort of chiffon, sort of a chiffon.
Do you know what a chiffon is?
I have no idea what it is. No.
You know?
I don't know what it is.
All right, she's wearing a pink dress.
So it was like sort of like a reddish pink. It was very cute. It was very cute. Yeah, I was wearing a purple, I believe a purple or blue button up. Yeah.
Oh,
you're
God.
yawning. Wonderful.
I want to see those photos.
I'll find them somewhere.
All right. I'm sure you know exactly where they are. I'm sure they're like encased in one of those. Like,
all right. The truth is, when we're having sex,
preservation-
when I'm taking you from behind, I have them taped up behind the bedboard and I just put them up.
like you press a little button and the wall flips
Yeah.
and there's like a little thing. So you can
Wouldn't that be
see
funny
it.
if I told you what the dress is? You're like, huh, you bought me the exact same dress every birthday I've had.
All right. Well, anyway, I think that's creepy but more adorable.
All right.
It makes me love you more.
Okay.
And-
Okay. Let's do another question.
Okay.
Let's get back into this.
Yeah. We're going back into questions. So, okay, I had was asked by a woman who writes for AARP, and she
Associated American Association for
retired persons.
Retired persons, yeah.
Yeah. So, it's a great organization, and she writes for their like newsletter or magazine, and she knew of our podcast because her daughter is a urology resident.
Huh.
Yeah. So it was really cool. So anyway, she had a bunch of questions for me, and I went through them with her, and I answered some of them, and I thought I would share some of.
Interesting.
some
And
of
this
the
is going to be an
digging.
AARP magazine?
One of the AARP publications. I don't know
cool.
which one, but I will let you know.
I love it.
Your
All right.
parents will probably get it, and my parents will probably get it too. And then
That's right. Well, and my parents will maybe then they'll start participating again. I don't know when people have started to listen to this podcast, but my parents used to be an integral part of it, and they
yeah,
just
they were actually.
basically retired from that.
Yeah.
They AARP'd from that.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, the first question she had for me was, are people having more or less sex? How does free time stress, being apart together more, and kids affect this?
Are she talking about during quarantine?
Yes. So that was great. The purpose of the article was talking about how the COVID-19 situation is affecting sex.
Right.
And obviously when we did our last podcast, that was like eons ago in the COVID-19 era. So now with so much has
that was in the
changed.
early strokes. Now
Right.
we're really deep all up in them COVID guts.
Right.
Yeah.
So my response to her was the following. There's been a ton of speculation about this, right? Like a ton. And most of it is just that speculation, like without evidence, right? So there's all these people. I mean, I think 4, 5, 6 weeks ago even.
You used to want to hold on the cord, yeah.
What?
No, I was just saying you were holding the mic on the cord and it might make a sound. There
okay.
you go. Yeah.
4, 5, 6 weeks ago even, there was all this online like hashtag COVID babies, Corona babies, because everybody was saying, oh, everybody's bored and they're at home and they're just going to be having sex and procreating.
That was before the broom handle position became very popular.
Right. That was true. That's
Swept
true.
the nation.
Right.
Bam!
Right. Yes.
Get it?
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Thank you.
Carry on.
Swept. Yes.
Yeah, it's a joke.
Okay.
It's a joke.
So anyway, and then there's all this other nonsense online, right? Like you see there's an article even on BBC, right, which is like the British state-sponsored British broadcasting company, right? And they're like, they're like kind of like a public radio sort of thing.
Yeah, they're kind of a thing.
And they had a whole article right. It was titled "Sex is Down During Coronavirus," says President of Durex. Right, and Durex is a condom brand.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, this guy says that. And it's like, well, okay, how does the president of Durex know how much sex people are having, right? So it turns out that the number of condoms being bought of their brand has gone down, right?
Yeah.
But that could be for a number of reasons, right? Like, for example, when people went to the drugstore, they were only focused on getting toilet paper.
Or it could be that people are like, the world's ending, fuck condoms.
Right.
Who's scared of the herpes when the COVID monster's out?
Right. Or they maybe were dating a few people and that's why they needed to use condoms. But now since all of this started, they're having plenty of sex, but it's only with one person.
Well, that doesn't make it safe. They still have to have been tested.
But maybe that happened. I'm just saying.
Maybe they got tested. I think probably there is a lot less sex going on because I don't think a lot of single people are out there doing it to the same level. But now the question is the more sex being happened between people in quarantine offsetting that? I'm going to say no. I don't think that's probably the case.
So anyway, right. So this was all speculative until I found this article that is still in press, meaning it hasn't technically been published yet. Okay, a manuscript that
Look at all
is
your fun
in
terms.
what?
You just have so many fun media terms.
Oh yeah. Well, actually,
Media. Oh, yeah.
actually, that's like science.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. Okay.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Okay.
For those not watching, Mo was just
I'm groping her.
yeah.
I'm
fine.
doing an example of the Me Too
He
movement.
was doing heavy petting.
Yeah.
Or was that light petting?
I was
don't
giving her
know.
one of the old Harvey Weinsteins.
One of the old Bidens.
Oh God! Don't put him in there.
Sorry, I am whatever. I'm not.
Yeah, we know.
Anyway, we're not talking about politics. Okay, and I'm whatever.
A registered Democrat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so there was a study that's in press that's coming out in the Journal of Sexual Medicine where they actually surveyed men and women between the ages of 15 and 45 in China in the middle of March. Right. And China was the first place to be affected by all of this. So really the
That's
initial
amazing.
data,
They did that in the middle, like
Yeah.
Wuhan's like in lockdown. So I was like, "Hey, how you doing? Do you have time?
yeah,
Just answer a couple
basically.
quick questions, unless you're busy, possibly
But
dying."
so this is the first real information we have other than speculation, right?
Yeah.
So they had almost 300 men respond to it and I think almost 200 women, okay? And it was interesting. So they said for example, 61% had unchanged sexual desire, 25% had reduced sexual desire, and 14% had increased sexual desire. So I think that's kind of interesting, right? And why there could be a number of reasons, right? So like if you're one of the 25 who is less interested in sex, maybe it's because you're anxious. Maybe you lost your job. If you're depressed, you may not be as interested in sex, right? So some
they say
people,
that's part of the reason the Japanese population is where it is. Less sex has been happening because when the economy's been going down over there, men are feeling less motivated to have sex because they somehow feel emasculated by the lack of economy. I feel like I read that or I made it up. Either one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. But yeah, so, in this particular case, more people, not only, irrespective of how much sex they're having, people are less interested in it, right? So this idea that like, people are hanging around with less to do, that they're just going to go and have more sex, well, that has to be linked to a desire to have more sex, right? And if you're stressed out and you're anxious and you're not making money or whatever, depressed, you may not want, right? Or what if you have somebody in your family who's sick or got coronavirus? I mean, like you might be distraught over that, right? You might be grieving. So there's different ways that this could be affecting. So that was kind of one of the first data
Also,
points.
look, it's just a matter of a lot of it's about time,
Yeah.
And when you go grocery shopping and it takes fucking 3 hours as it does now because you have to wash everything off and all that.
Right.
I mean, it just sort of eats into your time.
Right.
And you can't get your kids out of the house. Or people have kids. I can't imagine. I mean, I don't even. I ask my friends sometimes, like, how are you guys having sex at all? Like, you have kids in the house all the time, and you just have to kind of sneak it in. Like,
Yeah.
we've been having a situation where we can hear Ashley's neighbor through the wall a little bit.
Oh, this
and
is drama.
and so this is drama, right? So we were hearing some sort of like some music, right? So Ashley forces me to go over there, even though it's not my apartment. And I have to ask her to turn the music down. And
Mo's
she's
just cuter than me.
That's not true. But actually, the reason Ashley asked me to do this is because she's way more aggressive than me and would go full-blown New Jersey on her.
That's true.
Yeah, I wanted to be like, listen.
I'm very confrontational. Like when I get going with confrontation, it's not like I play brinkmanship very aggressively,
Yeah.
and it's not necessarily how I want.
I mean, the girl over there turned out to be pretty cool, and I think we worked it out. But she did come in a little hot, and I wanted to be like, listen, sweetheart, if I leave and the fucking New Jersey Dragon comes in here, it's not going to be pleasant for anybody.
I'm from New Jersey. That's why he's saying
Yeah.
that. It's not like
So don't make me leave. But she ended up being very cool. We worked it
Anyway,
out.
so
anyway, the point is when I was telling her that she was kind of
Loud.
when the music was loud, she goes, well, I mean, I can hear you guys too. And I hear you guys have sex. And we were like,
and it
Oh.
was horrifying. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know.
How much have you been hearing?
I know. I know.
And,
And then Mo was like,
if
so was
anything
it
was weird, that was another guy. I just started dating her this week. So anyway, the reason I say that is
why did you say that?
I don't know. Oh, because it made me think, how the fuck are my friends who have kids having sex?
Oh, right,
Because people
right.
can hear, and it's just, it must
Your
be.
kids are like at home all day
Yeah, I
and
don't know
you're
how
just
to do
like
it.
they're not doing anything and I don't know. Okay, and so the next data point was what was it? The the frequency of sex. So more respondents reported less frequent sex than more frequent sex. So that was just on average, basically, people were saying they were having less sex.
Okay.
And then, interestingly, 20% of women said they had increased sexual satisfaction, but only 11% of men said they had increased sexual satisfaction.
Wait a minute. You're saying more women are feeling sexually satisfied during the coronavirus? Why?
Well, okay, there were on average 35%, and this is, kind of the way the statistics were reported, okay? 35% of both genders said they were having less sexual satisfaction, okay? And then it wasn't just more or less, it was less, this unchanged, or more, okay? So on average, 35% had less, okay? Then a decent amount of men said their sexual satisfaction was unchanged. And then 11% said it was more, okay? Women, 35% less sexual satisfaction. Not many had unchanged sexual satisfaction. And then 20% said they had more sexual
So what do you think would be the more? Would that become, there's less of a, maybe there's more time now for
they bought
the
a
man?
new sex toy?
Maybe. Or there's more time now for their partner to get them off because they're not rushing off to do anything because they can't do anything anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. So it's
Maybe
interesting.
If anybody is from Wuhan is listening, we'd love to know what's going on over there.
Well, and that's the other thing, right? So we have to take this not as a universally applicable, whatever. I can't say that.
There's certain words I can't say either.
Yeah.
I've been struggling with a few words myself lately,
Yeah,
and it's like
like
what
love.
is that? Not love. That's
Poop.
mean. No, but there's a couple words like that. What is it? Why are there certain words we can't say?
I don't know. Applicable.
hold it up here.
Sorry. Anyway, so I don't know if it applies universally because this is a very specific part of China. They have their own cultural norms. They had their own government policies at the time.
It's a cultural tradition in China that during the coronavirus, sometimes you enjoy sex more. It's an ancient culture.
No, but
mysterious.
Regardless, the overall takeaway from this was that it's the first real research study looking at this, and sex was down. And
Right.
Another part that I didn't really go into here was that of people who had high risk sexual behaviors, like multiple partners with unprotected sex, that dropped off precipitously. And, probably as you would expect, people who were kind of in monogamous relationships, it was not as much changed. But it was still down.
Okay.
And then there was an interesting thing about married people having reduced number of partners, which they didn't
What does that
really
even
clarify.
mean?
I don't know. Either there's a lot of polyamorous people in China, or it means that people went from 1 to 0.
You know what they're doing? I don't know. I think they might be doing this here in America, but my dad was telling me about it. Where lonely, seniors who are totally isolated, there's like, it's almost like an Uber type thing, but younger people just come hang out with them.
Oh.
Which is pretty cool,
Yeah,
as
that
long
is
as those
cool.
people have been tested. But like, that's a good thing in general. Like, I remember looking into doing that when I was into volunteering years and years ago, back when I cared and was a better person. And I was like, I'd like to volunteer with like elderly people. And there was like so much like training and tests and all this shit you had to go through. I was like, fuck it. It's just too much.
It's probably because of liability.
And then I was like, well, what can I do? Well, I don't want to give up weekends to be tested and not tested to have to like go through like training. What can I just do? And they're like, well, we have this like HIV homeless people's coffee shop that we need people to kind of like.
So did you do that?
Yeah, I did that.
That's
for, like,
cool.
Yeah. It was pretty wild.
had fun?
I don't say I had fun, no, but I felt like at that time in my life I had to do some like charity stuff. So
I did
was doing that.
Habitat for Humanity. I hated it.
Yeah. I mean, doing charity work is very gratifying, but it's not generally all that fun.
It wasn't
to
gratifying.
Do. Wasn't? You didn't
No.
get gratified?
No, because the woman whose house we were helping, it was after Hurricane Sandy, and we went to Staten Island, and we were helping build this hat.
Yeah, you told me.
And
she's
the
kind of a
lady
bitch.
whose house we were helping like fix up just would come out and start yelling at us. Like she wasn't even nice. And then she was like standing around there doing nothing, like not helping. And she didn't look like.
What do you mean not helping? You were building her house. She wasn't supposed to help, was she?
I don't know, or like offer us like some water or something.
Right,
I don't know, or
right.
just be like nice. It was very, it makes me feel like a bad person. It does, but whatever.
I mean, I would say, yeah, most of the time I've done charity work or volunteer work during it. I'm like, I can't wait till this is fucking over. But then I talk about it for years on podcasts. Do we have time for one more question? I think we do. Let's do another phoner. I like phoners.
Yeah.
And again, guys, thank you for bearing with us. We are going to be doing more episodes, right, Ash?
Yes, we're going to be doing so many. And next time Mo is going to be wearing...
I'm going to be wearing the chiffon.
The chiffon.
We'll both be in chiffon. What else is going on? Oh, you had a nice little thing with Dr. Drew. You want to talk about that?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
it's pretty cool.
I had a patient, and he said that when he, was a teenager in the 80s, he, really didn't have any access to good information for queer youth. And he was so distraught over the fact that he was gay that he almost killed himself. And because of Dr. Drew's radio show at the time, and him providing a hotline with kind of resources for queer youth, that the guy got help and he lived. And he said he felt like Dr. Drew saved his life. So I went and told Dr. Drew that, and Dr. Drew was super stoked. He said it made his month. So it's cool. Things that you do that are good many years in the past can continue to give, and you can give someone life. And Mo and I are bad people, so we're not like that. But
so you're saying in 30 years, someone could call up hey, just the
Full Release podcast saved my life.
Destroyed my life. Destroyed my marriage. So fuck you guys. We hate you both. Okay, it's nice to know.
Okay.
Do we have anything else to talk about? Well, I know we have another question, but I'm trying to think if there's anything other things I wanted to mention. No, just again.
I'll be on Dr. Drew's podcast again at some point coming up. I recorded an episode with him. I don't know when it's going to air.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Okay.
He's probably not airing it because, people are not driving around as much. And again, my Discovery Channel special/pilot will be airing May 20th on the Discovery Channel at 10 o'clock. Small Town Throwdown. It's really funny. It's really cool. We go to Lubbock, Texas, which is known as the most boring town in America. And we go to Appleton, Wisconsin, which is known as the drunkest town in America.
And it will remind you of the sweetness of pre-COVID days. Where you could hug strangers and do things like that. Get chased by strangers.
There's some hugging going on, yeah. Well, don't give away too much.
Strangers.
All right, settle down. Well, now you're just getting
noogies.
Wild. No noogies. All right, one more question. Let's do another good phoner.
Okay, we're gonna do this good phoner.
Here we go.
Hey, Mo and Dr. Ashley. This question is mainly for Dr. Ashley. I had a question relating to basically my wife is allergic to penicillin, anything in that family for antibiotics. So if I am on those antibiotics, is there any reason that she should be complaining about any kind of vaginal discomfort? Or should she be having any irritation just because it is in my system? Therefore, it may be in my sperm. So if you can give me any light on that, I would appreciate it. Thank you. Bye.
I'm just going to go out and say this. I feel like we've done this question.
We've talked about allergy to semen, not exposure of someone to something they're allergic to.
Okay.
Through somebody else's semen. Do you understand the difference?
Even if we have talked about it, I don't remember the answer, so I'm sure no one else does.
This is why you're such a great co-host.
That is I really don't know what the answer is on that. I'm kind of curious. It seems like a rudimentary question, but at the same time, you're like, well, maybe it does make sense.
Yeah.
So what is the answer? Is there a doctor in the house? Is there a doctor in the house? Oh, there you are.
Beautiful one.
Beautiful one. Chiffon.
Okay, so interestingly, there are case reports on people having allergic reactions to semen when the man who produced the semen was taking an antibiotic that they were allergic to.
Wow.
Okay. So this is actually
didn't filter out,
a documented thing. Yeah. And so here's some examples. One, anaphylaxis, probably induced by transfer of amoxicillin via oral sex. So basically a woman who was allergic to the antibiotic amoxicillin, had oral sex with a man who was taking that antibiotic, and had a case of anaphylaxis, which is such a severe allergic reaction that you basically like break out in hives and your throat swells up and you can't breathe.
So that's what this guy did. That happened to this guy after he went down on her?
No, she went
She went down on him and then had that.
Yeah, so basically,
Jesus.
yeah, and he was probably like, "Oh, my load is just so
She's
huge."
like, you
she
told me
can't
you got
breathe."
tested. He's like, sorry, I didn't know I got tested for that.
Right.
That's fucking horrifying.
Okay, so then here's another case report. So this is a woman, basically 5 minutes after she had vaginal sex without a condom with her male partner, she got hives all over her body, shortness of breath, tightness in the throat. She said they did not engage in deep kissing or oral genital contact, and she had a known history.
That should be if you start experiencing that on the blowjob phase, don't go to deep genital contact or probably even shallow genital contact. Yeah.
So anyway, so the point I would say here is the following, okay? In at least these reports, the symptoms are the classic symptoms of an allergic reaction, right? Meaning that like shortness of breath, rash, itchiness, right? And ones that you have all over your body. So I don't know if isolated discomfort in the vagina would be caused by exposure to an antibiotic somebody's allergic to. Maybe if it's one that they had a much more mild allergic reaction to. But I would say that there are also other reasons why a woman could have vaginal discomfort during sex, right? Like not enough foreplay, hormonal issues. I mean, many of the things we've discussed in this podcast
Horrible
before
lover.
that Mo has forgotten.
Lover with no sexual skills.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, the point being, it definitely has been reported. I would suggest in your case, Guy, that you try, maybe stopping the antibiotic if safe to do so, and seeing, how if the sex reverts back to the not uncomfortable way, and if so, maybe next time you need to be on an antibiotic that your wife is allergic to, that you guys like wear a condom or. Yeah.
Or what I always do, and people have lauded me for this, is before I have sex with any new partner, I jam an EpiPen up my asshole, just in case.
That's great.
Just in case there's an allergic thing, I just dig that EpiPen out.
Wow.
And then you give them the shot.
Yeah, that's good.
So that's just another thing you can do.
Right.
If you don't have testing equipment, or if you're, on a road trip.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought that was just kind of interesting. That was something legit, and you can and it makes sense because you can find antibiotics secreted into the ejaculate, right? Like, for example, if you have an infection of your testicle that's called orchitis or epididymoorchitis, right? There are certain antibiotics that are very good for penetrating into your testicle to kill bacteria there, right? So if the antibiotic is able to get into the testicle to kill bacteria there, it makes sense that it would also kind of complete the loop, right? And get secreted, right? Like, why wouldn't it? I mean,
is it a healthy way to administer medicine then through ejaculating?
Right. Like maybe next time I have like a sinus infection, like you should take the antibiotic and just ejaculate in my nose.
That is sort of.
Is that what you're saying?
I'm basically saying.
This is what you're saying.
Penis is sort of needle-esque. Maybe we sort of push.
Your penis is needle-esque. That's.
How dare you?
I mean, you set yourself up for that.
Well, fuck, we're on a roll. Should we just do one more question?
Yeah, let's do
one more.
This is really the best question.
Well, this has been a great episode. I mean, I think we've coming out strong. We're reminding people why they should stick around and bear with us. But we're going to start doing it more. We need to start doing it more, okay? And thank you for the people who wrote nice things on iTunes haranguing us to start doing this, because we got to do it. We've watched 7 Van Damme movies. We got to start doing
I never
podcasts.
Yeah, his butt is nice.
Ashley's been enjoying his butt.
I do enjoy it. We should put a photo of his butt back in the background.
Very much.
Van Damme's butt, not Mo's.
How dare you?
Mo is a good butt, actually. He does have a good butt.
It's much hairier than Van Damme's.
I chase him sometimes when he's like walking around.
Let's do the question.
Naked.
Let's do the question.
Okay.
Oh, it's a phone question? We have a third phoner?
Hey, Ashley. I am calling in with a question. Not going to lie, it's 5 in the morning and I'm very, very drunk. I was just wondering, You know how people shove stuff up their butt and like you always see the stories of people going to the hospital with just things errantly stuck in there or whatever and they can't get them out? Why, if like most of the time I feel like all I use my butt for is pushing stuff out, why can't they just, shit out whatever stuff there, Love the podcast. Keep up the good work. Oh, I'm going to bed now.
Is this the guy who used to? Is this the guy I used to call? Is this the guy I used to? Are we on? Is this the guy I used to call and was always like my biggest fan?
I don't know.
Remember there was a guy.
Yeah, I know. I know that guy. He was the one guy who liked you better than me.
Yeah, sounds kind of like that guy.
Might be. It was a good question.
It's a really good question.
Just
I kind of wondered myself, actually. Yeah.
Right. And really what his question is to medicalize his question.
Medicalize
right?
it, yeah.
He's saying, right, people put things up their butt and they have to go to the ER to get the things taken out of their butt.
Right.
But as we know, the colon expels things. The colon and the rectum and the anus, right? They expel things through a process called peristalsis, right? Peristalsis is basically that the muscles have this wave of effect that pushes your poop out, right? And it moves only one direction, right? Because your poop doesn't decide and then you reverse direction come out your mouth. Right, it always goes out. It always goes out the anus. Right, this is true.
I never knew that. So shitting is called peristalsis.
Shitting is not called peristalsis. The kind of Honolulu dance.
Wait, what are you doing? You're doing the intestines. You're doing the intestines.
Yeah, the intestines.
Oh, okay.
The intestines squeeze. Right, so your intestines are always squeezing. So that squeezing is called peristalsis. And many organs do that, actually. Like in your urinary tract, your ureter has peristalsis to push the urine out, right? So it's kind of the squeezing of muscles that you don't think about in a lot of your internal organs is called peristalsis. To push things out, oftentimes. Okay, so his question is, why do things not just come out if you have peristalsis?
Right. Why can't you just grunt it out?
Right. So a lot of that reason is because of the kind of shape and directionality of your rectum. And also to bear in mind that if you, for example, right? If you can get backed up from your own poop, okay? That's the answer here, right? He's never been in a situation where you can't poop, but that happens, right? So if you got a giant rock hard stool, it also wouldn't come out. And when people have to go to the emergency room to have that fixed, it's called disimpaction, where basically, a doctor or nurse. Why doesn't that come out? It's too much? Yeah, it's too much, right? Your stool is usually kind of soft, the caliber is not that big, right? So it's what? It's true. It's
just funny. I've just never heard of that term, not in bullets. It's funny to think of you having caliber.
Oh, that's so funny.
Shits.
I ask people about the caliber of their stool all the time.
Really?
Yeah, when you
There's
get
a Full Metal Jacket.
when you get to the age where you're getting colon screenings and stuff, they're probably gonna ask you about the caliber of your stools. This is
let's hope so.
Older people, I was talking to a 95-year-old guy the other day, and older guys love talking about the caliber of their stools. This is something you get asked enough that you just know is a thing.
Life sounds like it gets awful at the end.
Yeah. But anyway, so if you had something the size of a basketball,
your grandfather's watch
of stool in your poop, you would also not be able to get that out. So the peristalsis can only do so much, right?
So basically what you're saying is if you put a car battery up there or something, it's those muscles aren't strong enough to lift that out.
Kind of. It's kind of like that, but it's also the opening is not that big, right? Your anus is not that big. So
you'd think if it could get in there, it could get out of there.
Yeah, but the strength of your hand to push something in there is stronger than the peristalsis of your anus, right? If you had a little hand inside of your rectum.
And some people might, as they're listening to this.
But I'm just saying, right? That's that would be the equal factor. Right?
Yeah.
If you had a hand inside your rectum pushing things back out, but you don't. So that's basically why everything you put in your rectum with your hand doesn't come out because you don't have a hand inside your rectum.
So for anybody listening thinking, but I want to be able to shove things in my ass at random and I don't want to have to think about it. How do I build up those muscles so anything I just randomly shove in my ass, I can easily get out? Is there a workout plan? Is there a video on YouTube that shows you how?
So that's actually an excellent question because those are what we call, there's a difference between the two main muscle types in your body are called skeletal muscle and smooth muscle. Okay, so skeletal muscle are the muscles you control, like your arm, like this, right? This is a skeletal muscle. It's associated with voluntary actions. Now, all the peristalsis happening in your ureter or your colon, going like this all the time, that's the squeezing of muscles you're not aware of, right? So your brain is happy that it doesn't have to say, oh, keep making poop. Like if you had to think that every second of the day, you wouldn't be able to do anything else, right?
It would be a very exhausting day.
Right.
Yeah.
So your body put your poop cycle on autopilot because it's like it's like I can't deal with all the other shit I have to do if I'm thinking about making poop all the time, right? So the smooth muscles are what we call involuntary muscles, meaning you do not control that. It's on autopilot. You can't control it. And because you can't control it, you're also not going to be able to do a workout to make it better, right?
Okay.
For your overall stool health, you can eat fiber, you can stay well hydrated.
But it sounds like you got to think a little bit before you shove things in your ass.
You can increase your bowel motility by walking.
Okay.
Yeah, and sometimes chewing gum, in fact. But you can't like work your colon into being like a stronger colon.
How much would I have to walk to be able to put a koosh ball in my butt and get it out whenever I needed to play with it? Let's end on that. You want to end on that?
No. Well, okay, fine. Well, my recommendation is just like there are lots of anal-friendly sex toys out there, and if you want to put things in your butt, like go look those things up from a reputable sex toy vendor, and make sure that there's it's usually called like a flange, which is something so that it can't go in.
Brim, so it doesn't go all the way in there.
Yeah. So that's that. Why don't we leave it on that?
Right. I've loved doing this again. Let's give a kiss. Okay. We love you guys. Thanks for bearing with us, and we'll be back soon. The Full Release Podcast. Tell your friends. Hide your wife. Hide your kids. Don't get COVID.